It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Good Friday morning. Heart with Barracuda right there. The first concert I ever saw was Heart. Before that, we heard Guns N' Roses, who I went to see open for, I want to say Motley Crue. This is in Atlanta, like 1987. I mean, right when Appetite came out. Damn. One of their first tours. And all I know is I went to see the opening band. Not that I loved them necessarily, but I had a buddy who's like, I saw them in L.A. You got to see them. Yeah. You're not going to believe them. They're the future of rock music. They're going to be amazing. And so he got me all hyped up. And in the second song, Axl jumped off stage on the top of a security guard and was arrested, and they went to jail, and the show ended. And I was like, thanks for dragging me down for a song and a half, dude.
Whatever, man. That's the future of rock and roll.
It was just, yeah.
Crazy
to your
antics
point,
and going to jail.
To your point, in real time, I was like, come on. And then later, I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. Glad I could say I was there. It is Friday morning. It is August the 1st. I'm feeling Minnesota. Paul Fletcher, give me some headlines.
Just for a quick reminder, air quality continues to be a significant issue as Canadian wildfire smoke is very unhealthy for everybody, and this goes through tomorrow afternoon. So just wanted to keep that in your mind. The Great Minnesota Get-Together is less than 3 weeks away, which is really hard to believe, and they're boasting more than 40 new attractions for this year's fair. Among the highlights, the Thunderbird, the tallest portable swing ride in North America, 2 new midway rides, Overdrive and Scorpion, and a variety of new craft vendors and interactive exhibits. I don't know, just get me a cob from the corn roast and a mini apple pie. That's all I really need.
Overdrive and what was the other?
Overdrive and Scorpion.
Yeah, just
all right.
already.
Me like a hurricane.
Yeah. Already making me think twice about even attending.
Yeah.
Really? Overdrive and Scorpion? You're just trying to, what are you? I used to love the swings. Just you just go up and you're just sitting in a swing, going in a big circle.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we'd go to Opryland, which was a theme park in Nashville, which no longer exists, but it was all about country music and rides and it was fun. On that swing ride once, and I got on there and I'd won several stuffed animals that day.
Oh, good job.
And then I decided, well, I don't want to. I should probably not have these with me. And my brother was standing outside the swing watching me go in circles, and he got my attention. He's like, throw it here. And I learned a real important lesson, which is really hard to get the timing and the physics right when you're
really
on that
hard.
swing ride. The first one, I probably threw it 600 feet over his head. I mean, it was so far off.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't understand just how hard that was. And so then it turned into, I didn't care about these little things. So
it's competition now.
They were all gone, and not one of them within 30 feet of my brother's day.
Damn it.
Yeah.
He was a big kid.
But did you improve each time?
Not much.
Oh, damn it.
I'm just so glad that you won stuffed animals and not knives or bowling balls or something along those lines.
That would have been a very different story.
Yes, it would have.
Definitely. At least 23 people were injured Thursday when a pendulum-style ride at Green Mountain Park in Saudi Arabia snapped in half mid-air. And plummeted to the ground. 3 riders were in critical condition. According to People magazine, witnesses described hearing a loud cracking sound as the central support pole of the 360-degree ride snapped, sending the spinning platform and its passengers, who are you're not dangling, you're in a chair basically, so but your legs are dangling, right? So there's a bit of freedom. You're not enclosed.
All right.
They come crashing downward. Several bystanders nearby were also struck. Emergency responders treated multiple victims on site, while others were rushed to the local hospitals. Crazy.
I'm going to put my faith into people at the Minnesota State Fair over some guys in Saudi Arabia. Just saying.
I think we have a few more regulations.
Yeah. I would imagine so.
This video was nuts, though. It's like straight in half, and then you see shoes flying off at the end and everything. It's crazy.
It is. And you know what? You can view it on our story on both Instagram and Facebook at 92KQRS if you want. I mean, it is worth seeing. It's crazy to see a ride this massive snap in half. Spinal Tap is going to release a new album on the same day as a sequel to This Is Spinal Tap. The Spinal Tap 2, The End Continues movie follows the band reuniting for one last concert 41 years after the original film. The album, The End Continues, features a re-recorded version of the song Stonehenge with Elton John. Also includes remakes of songs from the original film and new tracks.
Fair enough. 41 years later and not a moment too soon.
Yes.
Correct. And speaking of long awaited sequels, Happy Gilmore 2 just set a new record for Netflix. It had the biggest U.S. opening weekend ever for a Netflix original film. It got 46.7 million views over 3 days. That's a lot. I don't know how many million views there are in theaters, but 46 million seems like a ton.
That's an awful lot. It's got the highest, what's the word? It's the the most indirect, based on the number of people who've seen it and the number of people who say it's good. It's the greatest discrepancy in movie history.
Oh, wow. Is that real, or did you just...
No, I'm making that up.
Okay.
Everybody who says they watched it and liked it still goes, I mean, it's terrible, but I liked it.
Right.
Yeah, we finally finished it. Remember, we got interrupted by a tornado siren. It's, you know what? It's not even really it is a movie, but it's kind of not. There's so many flashbacks to the old one. It's just a nostalgia grab. You know what I mean? But I enjoyed it. Man, it was fun.
See? Terrible, but you enjoyed it, like I said.
It wasn't fantastic, but it was, but it was fun. It's construction time. MnDOT crews will shut down eastbound lanes of 694 from Shingle Creek Boulevard in Brooklyn Center to Snelling Ave in Arden Hills, and that goes on 10 o'clock tonight. Ramps from northbound and southbound 35W to eastbound 694 also going to close in the same time frame. MnDOT says use Highway 36 and 35E to reach eastbound 694.
So basically, MnDOT spends the summer letting you know, like, hey, if you miss feeling snowed in, we got you.
Yeah.
Just stay home. Don't go anywhere.
Or make sure that your GPS app is updated and ready to rock. Just a friendly reminder that today is International Beer Day. Miller Lite is going to celebrate. It also happens to be their 50th anniversary, so they're giving away 50,000 free beers at bars across the country. That's kind of a lot.
That's a whole lot of beers.
Yeah.
50,000.
I felt like they were way older than 50 years. I would have said Miller Lite, 100 years old.
Oh, no, it was I remember. I guess I was about 10, and those commercials started hitting TV. And I mean, that's the first time I was aware of the power of TV commercials. Like, I don't think I cared about a commercial other than something for a toy, like that was directed at me. But looking at Miller Lite commercials, the very first ones were all like, everybody talked about them at school, which was not the norm. You know what I mean?
Right.
The Bob Uecker ads, they were just everyone.
Tastes great, less filling.
Yeah, you'd hear about it like, oh my gosh, there's a new one. Exciting times when there was very little to do.
The womp, womp, womp about Miller Lite's story, though, nothing close to us, unfortunately. However, the 2025 U.S. Open Beer Championships have concluded, and Minnesota's bringing home more than just empty kegs.
Okay.
Perhaps some new beers for you to try on this holy day. Among the 8,000 drinks entered across more than 170 categories, Minnesota breweries have brought back 9 medals, including 4 gold medals. Invergrove Brewing's Better Off Red, Lakeville Brewing's Alternative Medicine, Annandale's Spilled Grain Brewhouse's Oktoberfest, and St. Cloud's Beaver Island Brewing's Smoke on the Porter. So maybe if you want to, it kind of goes all over the city too. You got northeast and northeast, northwest and southeast. So if you're looking to try a new beer on this holy day, that might be the place to do.
Very nice.
Ringo Starr recently sat down with Sam Mendes, the director for the upcoming 4-part Beatles biopics. The two went through the script for Ringo's installment. They spent 2 days going through every line, with Ringo providing notes on what he liked and what he didn't like, notably details of his relationship with his first wife. Ringo said, quote, "He had a very good writer and he wrote very well, but it had nothing to do with our relationship. I was like, we would never do that." So he just kind of, he just provided some notes, some context. Ringo shared his approval and good vibes for Sam undertaking such a massive project with the 4 movies, but also said he's going to do what he's going to do. So it sounds like he wants to have some control, but also is going to let him do what he needs to do to write the movie the way he wants to write the movie.
Well, sure. I mean, there's nothing by blessing it, by showing up. It's just a gesture of goodwill. I don't think Sam Mendes is gonna. If Ringo said no, absolutely not, that's unacceptable, and Sam Mendes was attached to it, he'd be like, "Sorry, Starkey, I'm putting it in. These are my films." Sorry.
The Crew 11 space mission, which is a joint venture between NASA and SpaceX, is set to make history today as the first astronaut launch to be live streamed on Netflix. It'll go off at 10:43 our time. 4 astronauts are scheduled to blast off from Florida and travel to the International Space Station. I'll be watching.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll take
I love that crap. On Netflix, that'll be fun.
Sure.
That'd be a blast.
I'm into it.
Pun intended.
When is that? I'm sorry?
That's today, 10:43.
Okay. Not that long from now.
Very specific.
Just making sure it's not going to get in the way of me watching my Minnesota Twins. Or what's left of them. The biggest midseason roster burnout ever. The Twins sending away Carlos Correa. We already talked about Johan Duran. How about this? Harrison Bader, Willie Castro, Ty France, Brock Stewart, Griffin Jacks, Louis Varland. This was 10 out of the 26-man roster gone now this week. That's almost 40% of the roster that was here as of Monday. That's $26 million off of this season's payroll. You've got a bunch of minimum salary players coming in for the next 2 months, which is a little bit of money, but this is basically saving some serious cash. So, hey, well done, Poleads.
Yeah, we can almost play a game of I give you a name and you tell me if it's one of the astronauts going up today or if it's a Minnesota Twin.
That would absolutely be an effective way to say that we don't know who's on this damn squad.
So Milwaukee or Madison or whatever might be a little bit far to drive for a free Miller Lite, but at the 3-7 bar in Mankato, which is a little bit closer, they're doing free drinks for Twins fans because, quote, the level of BS requires alcohol. Yes.
Wow.
So I think they want you to wear a Twins shirt, but
doing the Lord's work right there.
If you're way down south, might be worth a trip this afternoon.
Heck yeah. Carlos Correa did have a no-trade clause in that giant contract he signed, and of course he waived that when he looked at the standings and went, yeah, okay, I'll go back to where I won a title.
Well, and I'm sure they told him what the plan was, and he's like, yeah, I don't want to be around here anymore.
Man, this is what happens, I guess. But listen, when there's 20-something home games left this season, and you'll be able to find a ticket real easy.
Yeah.
That's the good news.
Target Field's never a bad place to be to just hang out.
Yep.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's never a bad time at that ballpark. Last night, the NFL pretended to get their season underway at the Hall of Fame game. The Los Angeles Chargers, all their scrubs beat up on the Lions scrubs 34-7. And as much as it's not real football, it's just good to see real football jerseys and helmets flying around the field. Yeah, it's exciting.
Sure.
Hey, Victoria, what's up over there?
Hi.
No, I don't mean. I'm talking about Victoria, Minnesota.
Oh. I thought you were talking to Victoria.
No. Vicky and I have a thing. That's a whole different kettle of fish. Victoria, Minnesota. Glad to have you with us this morning.
City of lakes and parks. I didn't know that. They have 9 lakes just in Little Victoria.
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty impressive.
They got to be known for something.
More boats than cars, probably.
I would hope so.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
2017, in a small town in Argentina called Bragado, Argentina, a Google Maps car was tooling around doing what it does, taking pictures of everything.
Being
so
a
that
tool.
we, sitting in Minnesota, could go, I wonder what's going on in Bragado, Argentina, and we can take a look.
Sure. Of course.
As weird as that sounds to someone from the old days, that's what happens.
Right.
The car was driving down the road, the Google Maps car, Google Street View car, I should say. A local man was in his own yard, behind a fence, sunbathing, fully nude.
Well, that's how they roll in Argentina.
That's exactly how they roll in Argentina.
Can't have tan lines.
The car's high-tech cameras took a snapshot, cha-ching, with a visible street address, and it ended up online. And people all over the world saw this photo of a dude laying out Big Jim and the Twins on full display with his address. So everybody knew it was this guy who was in Bragado, Argentina.
Wow.
The man happens to be a police officer in that small town.
Uh-oh.
And he became the butt of jokes all around town, all at work, everywhere, really worldwide. People were sharing that photo on social media. So he did the thing you might think would make sense, and he sued Google, which is a pretty large company, last I checked.
Yeah.
Quite an undertaking.
They got lawyers on retainer and everything.
Yeah.
A lower court dismissed the case and said, look, you're responsible for being inappropriately dressed in your own yard.
Really?
Google's
He was in his yard.
Google's defense was, hey, man, your fence was too low to expect actual privacy.
Well, what was his fence? Do you know?
I don't know the height, but it was apparently not, these cars, it's not like a giant, it's not a safari Jeep with a top shelf. It's just a car.
Have you both seen?
I have seen.
Okay.
I've seen them.
So about how high do you think the little camera ball is?
It's up there. I mean, it's 8 feet off the ground at least, six or 7. Yeah. Well, what am I? It's tall as me
taller.
at least.
Okay.
Yeah, taller.
Taller
I would
than
think.
you.
I think so.
I just looked it up. Though he was behind a 6.5-foot wall.
Okay. Well, that Google says that's not enough to expect privacy.
Wow.
The lower court dismissed it. However, he appealed. A higher court ruled in his favor and said, no, Google did intrude on your private life. They did fail to protect your identity by sharing that address. And they awarded him, this is now, 7 years later, $13,000.
Really?
13 grand.
I wonder
From Google.
From Google.
13 grand.
13 grand is the equivalent of a popcorn fart in a Ziploc bag from Google.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but you don't look at the value of a company to determine. That's not how you determine these things.
Unfortunately,
but I'm not saying that's not how you should determine these things.
Right.
You should. Yeah. I think but 7 years. So I mean, that's like $2,000 a year for pain and suffering. It's not much.
No.
What I wonder what his legal fees were. Like that might not even cover it.
I'm just curious as if he did then look at this and go, well, what are the chances they'll come back by again and then continue to sunbathe nude? That's my question. That's how I would. I mean, what are the odds they'd get him twice? Very
Right?
low.
Lightning in
Very
a
low.
bottle. Yeah.
Wherever this guy, whatever you're doing now, sir, I hope you do, as you alluded to, have a tan line free existence.
Yeah.
And you're feeling
Absolutely.
good about the coming summer months down south of the equator.
Yeah,
of course.
I think he deserves that.
Hey, listen, we get some tickets we want to give away. We're going to play a game called Double or Nothing.
Yes.
We've got Flaming Lips Modest Mouse tickets on the table for a winner. We got a couple of people on hold right now. We're going to go first to Jeremy from Zimmerman. Jeremy, good morning.
Good morning.
My man, are you a Flaming Lips fan?
I am.
Nice.
Good answer.
Nice.
I like that.
You're in the right place. All right. You know how this works. Double or nothing. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You will answer them. And then we will compare your answers to those of, we actually know our buddy Hummus Bob. Ryder recorded him answering these very same questions at an event last week. And if you get 2 of the 5 to align with Hummus Bob, then you, my friend, win the tickets. Are you ready to go?
Yes.
All right. Number 1. Name something Ozzy Osbourne was famous for doing.
Biting a head off a bat.
There you go. Number 2. How hot does it need to get before you turn on your air conditioner?
75.
Number 3.
Yeah.
What is a type of sauce commonly put on chicken wings?
Buffalo.
Yeah.
Number 4. Who's a couple famous for their breakup? Good answer.
I don't even know.
There was one on a giant jumbotron not too long ago. I'm just saying, or you could go real old school.
Just throw out any 2 names at this point.
Yeah, I don't know. Pass.
Pass and pass. Everybody was devastated when they called it quits. All right, number 5. Name a type of tree that stays green all year.
Pine.
Pine. All right, fair
Okay,
enough.
here we
There's your
go.
answers. Well done.
All right, and so everybody knows Hummus Bob was real stoked to check in with us at Unmapped last week. Here are Hummus Bob's answers.
All right.
Name something Ozzy was famous for.
Biting the head off of a bat.
Yeah.
Damn.
How hot does it need to be before you turn on your air conditioner?
76.
Oh.
What type of sauce commonly put on wings?
Buffalo.
Name a couple famous for their breakup.
Sonny and Cher.
That's what I said.
That's an old one.
What's a type of tree that stays green all year?
Pine.
There you go.
Wow.
Wow, nice work.
Even with passing on an answer, Jeremy pulled 3 out of 5. Very
Hell yeah,
impressive,
bud.
sir. That means you won the tickets, brother. Congratulations.
Amazing. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
you got it.
Nice.
All right, sit tight.
3 out of 5, and he also was only 1 degree off on the air conditioner call. Impressive.
Darn
Impressive.
Clean sweep. Sonny
Nice
and Cher,
work.
for the record, they had the number 1 record in America 60 years ago this month, and I know that because they were number 1 when I was born.
Oh.
Yeah, so going way back
It was a big throwback.
for the couple breakup.
You know what's crazy is that's the first one that came to my head too. Of
Really?
all the people, yeah, Sonny and Cher was the one that popped into my head. I almost answered for him when he couldn't come up with something.
Not Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston.
It's crazy.
Not
That's
Kanye and Kim.
But it's just like Sonny and Cher. Like that's just like it's crazy. Yeah, that's what came to my head. I can't explain it.
I went to Ben Affleck and J-Lo. Just
Not even the
that's-
Coldplay couple that just happened.
well, but were they really a couple, or was it just a one-night stand that never had a chance to I don't know.
They were just
We're not
physically
realized.
involved. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, another final fun fact on Sonny and Cher. The
Yeah.
Sonny and Cher Comedy Hour debuted on CBS on this day
Oh,
Wow.
in 1971.
Maybe that's it. So that's what we were just channeling.
It's
that.
all coming together.
See,
Yeah.
there's
Yes.
always a button. There's
mystical.
always a button at the end of every bit.
mystical.
A bartender's little video has gone viral. She's just giving us all a tip about what not to do when you walk into a bar. Take a listen to this.
You guys cannot go up to the bar and be like, oh, I'd have whatever you drink. you can't do that. I had somebody do that the other day. Dude, I don't think you know what I drink. He goes, oh no, I'll have it. I give him the drink and he comes up. He's like, what is this? And I'm like, what do you want from me? He's like, what is this? And I'm like, dude, it is Rumplemints on the rocks with a splash of Coca-Cola. What do you want?
God, it's brutal.
Well, okay, first of all,
yuck.
Okay, let's just start at the beginning. Have either of you ever walked into a bar and looked at the bartender and said, I'll have what you drink?
No.
No, I've definitely said, what's the special? One time I walked into a bar and said, hey, I want this beer you guys have on tap on special. And the bartender said, no, you don't. And I said, what are you talking about, bud? I'd drinking it before. I was like, come on, man, just pour the beer.
Nice.
It's exactly what my light lager taste buds want.
Man, fair enough.
Here's what I think. She's a good-looking girl.
Okay.
Some creepy old dude is just like, this is his way of flirting.
And so here's the question. Does she actually drink Rumplemilts with a splash of Coke, or is she just trying to freak the guy out?
I bet she does. Bartenders can be a weird breed.
Yeah, that's very true.
That, and when you bartend, and if you indulge, some don't, but if you indulge, you probably have had a little bit of everything, and so you get adventurous and try different crap, and it's like, oh, this is kind of good. That,
the only
land
time
on
I've
that.
ever, I just realized I have done that once. There was a bar that went into on tour is in Washington D.C. and they had the longest beer list of any bar, and it was old. It'd been around forever.
Yeah.
But they had no exaggeration, hundreds and hundreds and maybe even 1,000 different beers. It was ridiculous. And it was called the Rathskeller, I think, now that I'm thinking about it.
Of course it is.
And I sat in there, went in for the afternoon. In an afternoon, we were going to get a couple beers and then go to dinner. And then it turned out we just kept drinking beer. And by the end of the night, we were just like, what else have you got? And the guy was putting like Belgian Trappist ales. Now 31 beers in. Give me the strongest beer ever made. And we were
my God.
Beyond pie-eyed. One of the greatest and worst drink-ups of my entire life.
Right.
But that's the only time I ever remember. I mean, I've said to you just say to a waiter, what do you like on the menu?
Yeah.
I've sat down at a sushi bar and said, your choice. The guy will make you, that's a sushi. That's a thing.
That's like a pro tip. I like doing that.
That's a normal thing. But with alcohol, I don't know. That's a weird, surprised me. That's just not my vibe, man. I usually, if I want a drink, I want a specific drink.
Yeah, that sounds like a 21-year-old noob who doesn't know what to do and doesn't want to look dumb, but very much ended up looking dumb as soon as they chugged the Rumplemans with a tiny splash of Coke.
Yeah. The first time I ordered a beer in a bar, I was 17 on my high school senior trip using my older brother's actual license, but I wasn't him, so it was a fake ID.
Yeah.
And I'd never done that before. And I walked in, and me and a buddy were high school seniors, and in Florida, and the bartender takes one look at us, knows we're obviously not 21, but he doesn't care. And he said, what do you have? And my buddy goes, I have a Miller. And he said it like he'd done that before, and I was like, man, okay. And the bartender looked at me, and I stood there and went, same. Didn't really sell that one at all. He just kind of gave me a look like, God, kid, get it together. By the second beer, I was like, yeah, I'll have another one of these High Lifes, the champagne of beers. Had to get one in me to feel cool. But that first one, man, that was a tough order. Let me tell you something. Have you guys ever done this? You ever walked out of a bar with the glass? Like, this is a great pint glass. I think I'll just take it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I've done that before. Yeah, for sure.
I got a few right now at the house. Yeah, sure. In my adult years, like, you know what? I need this glass, and no one's gonna stop me. Damn it, I'm old. Look at me.
Right.
I've done that with a variety of different glass type. The pint glass, the shot glass. Yeah, every now and again, you just gotta lift it.
It's got the right etching on it and feels good in your hand. It's like, this is coming home with me. Sorry.
So let me know if you've ever taken anything else from a restaurant beyond just the pint glass. 651-989-ROCK, or you can go to the Facebook page. Apparently, there's already a few on the Facebook. We're a thieving group, aren't we? Jeez. Or if you are yourself working in the food service industry, what's the weirdest thing anyone ever took from the place you were working? I mentioned pint glasses. That's more from a bar, really.
Yeah.
But I occasionally there's the sugar packets.
Works.
You just think, I'm gonna need those. I'm gonna need those sugar packets.
Yeah.
I do believe I took a salt shaker once just to be a jerk. What? Just look mad at the guy. I'll take this.
Did you finish the salt, or
no?
It was
just thinking. Well, what I was thinking was, this will just bug that.
Ruin his day.
That's going to ruin his day.
Yeah.
And I there was a time, but this isn't. Well, this is stealing a whole meal. Actually, I was at an IHOP by myself one time, and I recognized, oh my God, I thought I had a 10. All I had was a 5 at a time when a 10 was more than enough for breakfast and a tip.
Yeah.
5 covered the meal, but not the tip. And so what I did was I thought, well, I'll leave the tip like on the table, and I'll walk out with the check, and I'm going to walk 2 blocks to my friend's apartment where I'd crashed, and I'll go get $5 from him, and then I'll come back and pay. I'm going to do the right thing.
Sure.
And so that's what I did. I left the 5 on the table, and then just walked out with the check, like you'd normally go and stop at the cash register and pay.
Right.
And I walked 2 blocks, went to my buddy's apartment, and I'm not making this up, completely forgot my entire plan. It was probably 6 hours later. I was like, oh, I was supposed to go back and pay for that. That's a testament to my 21-year-old brain and the hangover I was dealing with.
I was going to say, I thought your buddy offered you a beer, and you're like, oh, I'll do this instead.
No, I just probably crashed. It was just that simple.
Fair enough.
Texts, Paul Fletcher, what do we got?
We got some pretty good. Christine just sent this in, kind of off what you're saying with the salt shaker. She said, I steal the pepper shaker off the table and replace it with one from the last restaurant I was at. Funny or diabolical?
Oh, wait. Really?
Yeah. She says, I wish I could see the staff wondering what happened. And she sent pictures of the old pepper shaker and the one she replaced it with. That's messed up, but kind of brilliant.
That's performance art restaurant thievery.
Absolutely.
I like that. Wait, so you leave with the pepper shaker from one spot. So you just every restaurant you go to, you're doing the pepper shaker swap. I like that.
Yeah, and Dave also said, I stole a sign from a restaurant entryway that said, not responsible for stolen items. I laughed for 2 days. My wife was not impressed. She told me I am 55 and I need to grow up.
That's a very cool, that definitely belongs in the garage or the basement.
Yeah, that certainly does.
Last one, just because I feel like you might like this one. Liz says, a bourbon glass from Mullenbrink's Saloon in Nashville. Does that ring a bell at all? Maybe it's closed. Well, it does say first week of school at Western Kentucky in 1975. So maybe that place isn't around anymore.
Oh, sure. Oh, you know what? I've seen Liz, who's a hilltopper myself, a hilltopper in back in the day. Mullenbrink's. I don't remember that. That's before my time.
Fair enough.
But that sounds like a place you'd go for a drink in the 70s.
Yes.
Going over to Mullenbrink's Saloon.
And probably a real heavy glass, like the kind that could break somebody's face.
Yeah, that's back in the days of the Jolly Ox. Remember those steakhouses? You ever hear that? The Jolly Ox. It was like an old English
I don't think
vibe.
I do. No.
That's a good name for a band.
It is a good name for a band.
You want one more? All right. Chris from Chaska. This is great. Thievery contest at Pizza Hut. My buddies were grabbing salt shakers, etc. I walked back into the kitchen like I owned the place and grabbed a large pizza pan and the tool they use for grabbing it out of the oven, and I walked out the door with it.
You can go anywhere if you just act like you're supposed to be going there.
Act as if. Yeah.
That's it. That's fantastic.
Chris and Chaska, good work.
651-989-ROCK. Let us know what you've ever accidentally left a restaurant with in your purse or pocket.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Whatever flew away from a restaurant in your pocket or purse. We're talking, every now and then you get the 5-finger discount. You just got to do these things.
And every now and then that turns into a problem, like Lucy from the 612. Oh my gosh, back in the day I stole an Arby's uniform. There's saucy.
A uniform?
Yep. Sauce, ketchup, squirt bottles, toilet paper, salt, pepper shakers, you name it. I'm pretty sure I even stole a broom.
Wow, a broom.
Nice.
Wait,
Lucy must have worked there.
I hope so.
Well, just but one thing led to another. Next thing you know, she's like,
Is
racking up.
Arby's so cheap that they want the uniforms back? That doesn't seem legit.
Jed on the Facebook page wrote, while in the Navy, I stole an identical pair of beer glasses from 2 different bars during port visits to Norway, years apart from each other. That's cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense to me.
Yes.
Sure.
Rick said, it's funny, what's with the Pizza Hut? Rick said, my former brother-in-law used to take the pizza cutter from Pizza Hut all the time.
I have I went to see the Pretenders back in the day down in Nashville, Tennessee when I was in college, and me and a couple buddies were going to do the old dine and dash at a Pizza Hut right there. Mm-hmm. And 3 of us understood the drill, which is you just get up and walk out different doors. And the 4th guy panicked and didn't know what to do, and the manager's just watching him, not for sure. He walked right over and he was like, the manager, nothing he hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
I'm sure the 4 of us talking about this, we probably weren't as quiet as we thought. But anyway, Hey, Bob, thinking of you, brother. Sorry you had to pay for the whole dinner.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I had to pay for the whole thing and didn't end up washing dishes or making breadsticks.
No, we were all waiting for him. Across the street. He comes walking out 10 minutes later. You guys all owe me $4 each or whatever it was.
No.
You're the guy who couldn't figure out how to do this.
763 Tracy. She was actually the victim of somebody stealing. Girls' weekend, and my friends decided to slip some silverware and salt shaker into my purse. I didn't find them until I got home.
Wow.
I don't know that I'd call her the victim in that situation. No. She got the free silverware and salt and pepper.
Maybe she doesn't feel good stealing.
Boy, now that I'm looking back, I'm certainly not a kleptomaniac. But I've lifted a few things in my life. Yes, it's been a long, long time.
Okay.
But the biggest thing I ever stole, and I felt bad but didn't, because I stole a kick drum pedal, like a piece of musical equipment from a music store where the guy was such a douchebag to me. I'd have to walk in there. It's the drum store, and the guy was just so, you're an idiot from a local band, and your band sucks, and therefore I will treat you with scorn.
Yeah.
And I was screwed. I was at the mercy of this guy, and I went in there to grab a kick drum pedal, which was like a big purchase for me at the time. It was probably $80 or something.
Okay.
And I was standing there, and I'm holding it in line, and I'm watching the guy ignore me. And then he said, "What, is that all you need?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, just give me a minute." And he goes over and starts talking to another customer, and I was just so ticked off. And there was a big pink receipt somebody left on the counter, and I just grabbed it and put it in my hand as if it was my receipt. And I just waited like 5 more minutes and finally said, "That's it. I'm just going to walk out the store, and if he stops me, I'm going to go, here's my receipt." Didn't say kick drum pedal, but I figured, and
right.
No one said a word.
Right.
Like he ignored me so much that he ignored me walking out with something I hadn't paid for.
Sounds like he had it coming.
Yeah, and I'm telling that story because I still feel bad about it.
You do, huh? Yeah.
I don't like the idea of being the guy that stole the kick drum pedal.
Yeah.
And the truth was, it was a really crappy pedal anyway, and I broke it like in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Those things sort of happen.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? 65198 on Rock. Let us know what you done took. 44 years ago on this day in 1981, the music industry didn't know it yet, but it was all about to change very, very rapidly.
Yeah.
At 12:01 a.m., the words "Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll" were aired on a brand new network. Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles, the first video shown on MTV. So August 1st, 81. I didn't get MTV till August of 83, which means I spent 2 years just pining for what all the cool kids on the planet Earth had other than me.
I don't remember if it was the actual launch. My parents used to host a lot of parties back in the day. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was the actual launch, but I can remember when we first watched MTV. They had a bunch of friends over, let us stay up late, and it could have been the launch. But do you remember Spectrum? Vision back in the day?
Yeah.
Dad had to have Spectrum so we could watch hockey games, but also MTV was on that. And that's where I first saw it.
Why did you put hockey games in air quotes, man?
I don't know.
They were real hockey games.
It was
I just did it because it was just like, it makes me laugh because it was like, that's why we got Spectrum, because Dad had to watch hockey.
Well, I think that's legit.
It is.
The coolest thing about MTV, the coolest early sort of byproduct was a lot of English bands that could not really get arrested here.
Yeah.
Found big audiences, but not in major markets. But like bands like Haircut 100, Don't You Want Human League, there were all these English groups. Cable was in smaller markets, not major cities. Yeah. So you had English bands that would play 250, 300 seat, clubs in New York City, and they'd go to Fargo and have 1,500 people.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was this really bizarre. Yeah. The entire industry just went, wait, hold on, what's happening here? Video Killed the Radio Star. The first video played. The second video on MTV, Pat Benatar's "You Better Run." The third, Rod Stewart's "She Won't Dance With Me." The fourth, "You Better You Bet" by The Who.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wow. We're just throwing some curveballs right out of the gate.
Yeah.
Then Cliff Richard, "It's So Funny We Don't Talk Anymore."
Wow.
The Pretenders' "Brass in Pocket."
Okay.
Todd Rundgren, "Time Heals." REO's "Take It on the Run." And then the 10th video, Styx, "Rockin' the Paradise." What a bizarre beginning to something that became so cool and so awesome. MTV, had they not gone the way of reality TV, I mean, I think about it to this day. What if they just played videos? What if they never really did anything else?
Yeah,
they would have never made $1, but it would have been way cooler.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and think of how different music could potentially be. I mean, through the 80s, like bands like Duran Duran, Culture Club, Eurythmics, Flock of Seagulls. I mean, these bands maybe don't even have a chance if not for MTV.
Oh, sure.
And you know what I mean? And so if they'd have kept playing videos, who knows where it could have went or what it would have done or whatever.
MTV 44 years ago today.
Crazy, man.
I can't remember the last time I watched anything on MTV, but when it was
nothing worth watching.
When it was still happening, when they first went to TV shows of their own, like remember Remote Control, the game show?
Yes!
That was awesome.
I loved Remote Control.
It was
so
great.
good.
So good.
So good.
And then the first Jon Stewart show that he had on MTV was really good. There was
Yeah.
I do just want to say they threw a lot of shade when they started with Video Killed the Radio Star, and we're all still here doing radio.
We certainly are.
MTV is playing ridiculousness 24 hours a day practically.
So in your face, MTV.
I wonder if they even get any viewing anymore.
Thought you had something special. My buddy Steven Hyden is in the studio with us right now. Good morning, Steven.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So as I mentioned before, let me get this out of the way. A fantastic writer, as good as there is right now writing about music.
Wow.
I don't say that because I know you.
That's amazing. Thank you.
And your most recent book, There Was Nothing You Could Do, Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA, is tremendous. I don't know if I've said that to you.
So many
I probably
compliments.
Really great
Are
book.
you setting me up for like?
And
Do you feel uneasy right now?
I don't know. I'm waiting for like the roundhouse kick to the groin or something.
I'm not a card-carrying boss guy, and the book is absolutely outstanding.
It's the best book I've done that wasn't written with you.
Well, I appreciate that very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's right. There was that little number about the Black Crows we wrote together.
A real quickie question about Gorman's book. I heard it was like 900-something pages, and you got it down to a normal amount of pages, Steve. How did you do that?
Man, so I just cut out a lot of his words. He would say things repeatedly and rephrase it. I mean,
Nice.
The book that we did.
But you didn't cut out anything scandalous. That
we didn't.
Okay, good.
It was very surgical. If I can compliment my own editing skills. I mean, that book for you, that was just like vomiting up all this bile that was in your soul, I think, and you just had to get it out.
That's a good endorsement.
Wow.
Well, I cleaned up the vomit and I turned it into a book. I mean, that was my job.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it was very cathartic for you doing that book.
See, that's funny because I've often referred to it as it was me pissing out. But now you want to say it's puking out. That's fine.
It was coming out of every orifice, I think.
There it was.
I think we can say
two lines, no waiting. That's what that was.
It was coming out of your nose because it couldn't come out of your mouth fast enough.
That's right.
This is what people want to hear in the morning.
We didn't invite you in to talk about my bodily fluids. We wanted to talk about the band we just heard, Oasis. So not only did you see Oasis recently, you saw them at Wembley Stadium in London, which I would dare say is even cooler than seeing them in their hometown of Manchester, because Oasis is the pinnacle of they represent England to a great part of the world for a certain amount of time, the mid to late 90s. A lot of Americans missed out on that. They know the band, but I don't think a lot of people fully understand how deeply entrenched Oasis is in British culture and how stupendously humongous they are over there.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that intellectually going into it, but it's not until you see it and you go into bars and they're playing a piano and people are singing B-sides that, like in America, or album deep cuts, like. Here in America, I consider myself a pretty well-educated Oasis fan, but over there, I'm like a normal, everyday person. Like everyone over there is an Oasis expert. They are like a national mascot band, in a way that I don't think any American band is. Maybe Taylor Swift has that status now, but she's popular everywhere.
She's popular everywhere,
and she doesn't necessarily like signify America the way that Oasis signifies Britain. I think like the Tragically Hip. That band, I think they're
That's Canada.
That's Canada's band, but like America, I don't like Springsteen. Like half the country doesn't like him now because of he's spoken out against the president. So it's a very unique phenomenon, and it was amazing to be in the middle of that.
I know several people that are Oasis fans that beyond that they would have nothing to do with each other, like in England. I have a lot of British friends, and there are people that are completely different walks of life, different backgrounds, different everything, socioeconomic down the line, but they are all Oasis to them. It's like it's almost like Cheers or Friends. It's just so much a part of like their
or the NFL.
It's just woven. The NFL.
The NFL here in America is the only thing I would compare it to.
It's really true.
Because the NFL is like the last monoculture, I think, in America. You can walk into any bar and strike up a conversation about football. Oasis is like that in England.
Wow.
It's incredible. And just being in the stadium, I'm not normally a person who sings along at a concert, and I don't like it when people around me are doing it. It's like trying to listen to the band. I want to hear don't want to hear your off-key singing behind me.
Goodness.
But at this show, it was different. Like there was a mass sing-along going on. Everyone was getting into it, and it made this stadium with 81,000 people feel like a pub.
Right.
Nice.
Arm in arm around strangers, singing. Don't Look Back in Anger, Wonderwall. B-sides like Acquiesce and Fade Away, which a lot of listeners here probably don't even know unless you're a big Oasis fan. But again, over there, they know everything. They have it all clocked.
Yeah, it really is. Cool. It's funny you said like the NFL. They're and plus those songs, like just those the one we just heard, Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova. I would put a couple from the first album in there. I mean, whether you like them or not, you cannot deny those are just anthemic, iconic. I mean, they're written to be sung in stadiums in a weird way.
Yeah, I wrote about the show this week on uprocks.com if you want to go check that out. And I was comparing their songs, not even to rock songs, but songs like Happy Birthday or nursery rhymes. Because they're very simple and they're designed to be recited. And in England, I think, just like, when was the first time you heard the song Happy Birthday? Like, no one knows that. You don't remember learning that song. It's just sort of like embedded in your brain.
Right.
And I think Oasis songs are like that over there. You just come out of the womb knowing the words to Live Forever.
Yeah.
And you can sing them in unison no matter how drunk you are with tens of thousands of people.
Well, I did a year on the road with a Welsh band called Stereophonics, another band that's humongous in the UK. Didn't do anything here. The Oasis has had success in the States, but this band Stereophonics is like a smaller version in both counts. But Stereophonics just did stadiums this summer too in the UK, 5 or 6. They're doing arenas this fall. They're a massive band over there. And in talking with them about Oasis, so in 2003 and 4, Oasis's star had waned over here for sure. But when I was with these Welsh guys, and I was like, so. Okay, you guys were just getting started as a band in '94. Like, what happened with Oasis? And they're all friends. They know these guys. They're peers with Oasis, and they would still say, "No, you don't understand, man. You just cannot. There's never been anything in our lifetimes." When people would compare them to the Beatles, it actually made sense. You might not compare them album to album, pound for pound, song for song, but as far as what it meant in the fabric and the water and air of the United Kingdom, it's like these guys in another huge band were like, no, we never, nothing will ever be like that again. There's no band that you will ever hear as big as Coldplay is around the world, right? There's not a connection to them the way Oasis has. It's mind-boggling to see this tour after 15 years away.
Right.
Not a new song, not even not even pretending they're writing new music. It's like, no, we're just going to go remind everyone that we're the biggest thing since the Beatles out of the UK.
I was thinking about something that you actually said, and I think it ended up in the book, about song bands versus live bands. And you were talking about how like the Rolling Stones are a song band because people know the songs, and the Stones can play poorly live and it doesn't matter because they're playing Satisfaction. Whereas like Little Feat is a live band.
Yeah.
You're there for the musicianship. And I think you said the Black Crowes were a live band. People go to hear you guys play.
I said we were a great band with good songs.
That's it. And
Oasis was a good band with great songs.
Exactly, because they're not really like a great live band.
No.
This tour, I think, actually, it might be the best they've ever sounded live.
Wow.
The clips I've seen on YouTube, it is. I've never, because I've seen them, I toured with them in 2001 and they were fine and it was good.
Yeah.
And I've seen other clips from their heyday in the 90s, blah, blah, blah. But this is the best Lim's ever sung, for sure.
Yeah, he's laying off the booze and the cigs and all that stuff. His voice just has that sneer, but it's not hoarse.
Yep.
He's singing powerfully, but there's no strain. Noel... I mean, these are not the most demonstrative guys on stage. They just sort of stand there and play. But Noel, in his own way, you can feel the joy coming out of him.
Yeah.
And look, this guy has been playing with the High Flying Birds for a dozen years. He's put out some good records, but, you're playing theaters and clubs in a lot of places. I think he's still doing big venues over in Europe, but to go from that to just the adulation of like Wembley Stadium, and they're playing multiple shows at Wembley. They're playing some right now. I think when they go back in September after doing the American dates, they're back at Wembley. They could probably play there every day. They could do the Billy Joel thing where it's like a residency at Wembley, and they would sell it out every time.
I'm going in LA with my son, who's 25, and when he was in high school, so 7-8 years ago, one day he's blasting Oasis, and I just, you like Oasis? And he was like, it's like the best band I've ever heard. And it was like overnight, he and his buddies all just discovered. And it started with Wonderwall. One guy had Wonderwall on, and they were like, "What is that?" But his generation, what is that? Who are 20s? Is that Gen Z? I don't know what anything is.
Gen Z.
The streaming numbers for Oasis in America in the last decade have exploded.
Right.
And college kids now and kids just out of college look at them the way, someone in my age would have looked at the Beatles. Like, oh man, I wasn't there for it, but this is the greatest music ever. They've got this third, fourth generation in America bigger than ever as far as how many listens, and it's fascinating.
Well, they have a lane that hasn't been taken by another band.
That's a good point.
This rock and roll type band where it's not just the songs, it's also the lore around the band. And I've always said, there are people out there who obviously hate Oasis, and they hate them because of how snarky those guys are and how big-headed they can be. And I always say that's part of the ride.
That's the bit.
Part of loving Oasis is recognizing and embracing how ridiculous that band can be at times. Like at the end of the show, they play Champagne Supernova. It's amazing. And they show Liam, and he's balancing a tambourine on his head.
Yeah.
And on one hand, you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And on the other hand, you're like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like a winter jacket, zipped all the way up with a scarf. It's like 100 degrees in this stadium. He's not sweating at all because he's Liam Gallagher. He's one of the last cool rock guys left on the planet.
Yeah.
And it's his job not to sweat.
Yeah.
He knows it's my job to stand here with a tambourine on my head, not sweating, and it's ridiculous, and it's awesome, and that's what rock stardom is. And there's not really other bands waiting in the wings to overtake that. So when Oasis comes back, if you want to go to a stadium rock show that feels like a real stadium rock show,
there it is.
You're going to go see Oasis.
Yeah, the ones in the States, everything's sold out right away. I doubt that the audiences, it won't be the same as seeing them in England.
There's no way.
But Toronto will be close. The Canadians embrace them the way the Brits did. And I imagine the South American shows in Mexico City will be pretty crazy too. But American audiences generally are more laid back anyway.
Right. And I wonder too, because again, like I was saying, they were playing obviously the big songs that everyone knows, but they were playing songs that only like real fans know, the B-sides. Like Half the World Away was a song that they played, and it was a massive sing-along. Everyone knew the words. And I just wonder, in America, is that the song people are going to go to the bathroom during? Because they're waiting for Wonderwall? Yeah. I mean, there's probably going to be a lot of people from all over the world coming to those shows. Who knows? I mean, those shows did sell out very quickly, so hopefully people will be there. But again, seeing them in England,
it's great.
It's like seeing Springsteen at the Stone Pony or something, except the Stone Pony is like a huge football stadium.
Yes.
No, it's fantastic. Hey, you mentioned they could do a residency the way Billy Joel did the Garden. You're in the Billy Joel documentary.
I am.
It's now on HBO.
I am.
Which I've yet to see.
I think I'm the youngest person in the movie, too. And I'm not that young.
Yeah.
No. I'm 47, but, it's a lot of older people. For sure.
And so to summarize, it's funny because I've seen people talking about it on social media and friends of mine on Facebook, whatever, and it's the age-old question, which is, why does everyone hate on Billy Joel when apparently everyone actually loves Billy Joel? Like, what is it? What's your take?
Well, critics
what are you
hated him back in the day.
Yeah,
I mean, I think Billy Joel. You know how people, you mentioned Coldplay earlier, people will just hate on Coldplay and they'll use them like, oh, that's an example of bad music.
Right.
Or Ed Sheeran or Maroon 5. Nickelback. And really the biggest crime that those artists have committed is that they're insanely popular.
Right.
And that you can't go into a CVS without hearing, Fix You or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think Billy Joel was that in the 80s and 90s. That if you hated pop music, Billy Joel was the guy that you pointed to. It's like him, Phil Collins, maybe Michael Bolton a little bit later on. I also think that with Billy Joel, he has some rock in his DNA, but he's also coming from like a Broadway tradition or like a Great American Songbook.
Right.
There's something kind of un-rock and roll about him.
Very much so.
Like if you see Billy Joel in a leather jacket, it's kind of like, really? I don't know about this. It's not like seeing Bruce in a leather jacket.
Right.
You're like, he's a rock guy.
Yeah.
So I think Billy just had that lack of coolness that made him an easy target. But the fact is that he wrote these songs that are so durable.
Yeah.
And you hear New York State of Mind, and it is like an American standard. Tony Bennett sang that, and Frank Sinatra sang that.
Yeah.
And I think over time, coolness matters less.
Yeah.
You can be an uncool band, people make fun of you, but 50 years later, if they're still listening to your music, it's like game, set, match. What are you going to say?
His biggest mistake, unlike Declan McManus, he didn't give himself a cool punk name to have a career. Elvis Costello.
That's true.
Another guy who's written some amazing standard-esque songs. Like
that
Elvis
is funny.
Costello is a total old school songbook writer. He's a Lennon and McCartney guy. But no, he just knew. Well, if I put these glasses on and call myself Elvis something else, and Billy Joel I'm just Billy Joel from Long Island. It's like, dude, you should Billy Cougar, anything.
Yes,
come on.
Like, it is funny to think like, this new song, What's So Funny About Peace, Love, and Understanding by Declan McManus.
Yeah,
you're like, what is this nerd?
Not quite the
doing?
same.
Yeah, exactly.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Okay, here's today's Bargument.
All right.
Of course, that is the kind of argument you can still maintain and maintain your ground once you've had 3 or 4 drinks. It's a Bargument for crying out loud.
Yeah.
A real simple one. So Steven Hyden's in studio with us. He saw Oasis in London last week at Wembley Stadium. Let's go the opposite direction. Let's talk about the best club gig you ever saw. The text line apparently is already well lit up. Ryder, you're a punker from way back. You've been to many a rock club. Is there one that stands out? Best club gig you ever saw?
I'm going to divert from my punk roots. And I know a little bit earlier somebody said that Tragically Hip kind of embodies Canada. But I'm going to disagree and say that it's actually the Canadian band Anvil, who I freaking adore. Yes, epitomized in the documentary or the rockumentary Anvil, the story of Anvil.
Yes.
I saw them at the Turf Club, and it was a April 19th, which was a Saturday night. It was the day before Easter, and it was, of course, also 420 Eve.
Right.
So this was a real sparsely attended show. They had a not very good comedian open up for them. I've never actually seen a comedian open for any band. But then when Anvil came on the stage, there was so much love by the 80 people that were there.
Sure.
I mean, Lips comes down into the crowd. He plays his guitar solo during March of the Crabs. He sings into the guitar instead of the microphone, and you hear that weird voice thingy. Dude, I'm out of breath just talking about it. All right.
That's amazing. I remember Anvil, the story of Anvil. That was an incredible movie.
Yes.
Great film.
All right,
the bar has been set, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to top Anvil at the Turf Club. Paul, what comes to mind?
Well, I'm just gonna go back to one we've already brought up before because I don't know how it goes up from here. I'll see your Anvil and I'll raise you a Shirley Manson. I was at the very first ever Garbage show in the United States.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they were out doing promo and getting set up to go be a band.
Okay.
And they Garbage squeezed themselves, their electronics, their multiple guitars into the 7th Street entry, and it was as butts to nuts as you can imagine.
Wow.
It was elbow to elbow. I had just gotten into radio. It was phenomenal, and I was front and center.
Yeah.
I was inches away from Shirley, and then when they were done, the capper on it all was being a gentleman, and because there's nowhere to go, there's no stage entrance at 7th Street. You just go up on stage because normally there's 16 people in the room, right?
Sure.
I got to elbow some people out of the way, reach my hand out to Shirley, and help her down off the stage.
Wow. Always a gentleman.
Coincidentally, didn't wash that hand for a long, long time.
Okay, Garbage at the entry is pretty good.
One of Wisconsin's finest bands. Not Shirley Manson, but the other 3 did. Wisconsin pride.
100%.
Yeah, Butch Vig. Did you clear the path for Butch Vig?
No, I was very focused on Shirley Manson.
It's interesting. You got one Scott, but it's definitely a Wisconsin band, whereas the band had one guy from Arkansas, but no one thinks of them as a Canadian band.
Exactly.
That's
People
just
think
how
of them as being one of America's greatest bands, but you only got Levon in there.
You got four-fifths Canadian. Still not enough. Keep that crap north of the border. We take them for ourselves.
Well, and Fleetwood Mac has a similar thing, too, because they're thought of as like a Southern California band, but it's only Lindsay and Stevie, and you got 3 Brits.
Yeah. And before that, you had 4 Brits and 5 Brits, and the first Brit was the best of all, Peter Green.
Oh, my God.
Go figure. All right, Hayden, you've been to a million club shows. Is there one that stands alone?
Yes. I'm going to go the indie rock route here and say Guided by Voices, one of my favorite bands of all time. December 8th, 2001 at Birdie's in Indianapolis. I don't know if you know that club, Steve.
I don't.
Oh.
It was a hole in the wall, a great show, similar to the Oasis experience. Arm in arm with strangers. They have a Replacements kind of vibe where they drink a lot of beers on stage. So it was,
yes, they do.
It was a very sloppy experience. It was one of those shows where when the gig is over, your feet is covered. My feet were covered in beer bottles and plastic cups,
soaked and sticky.
Nice.
It was a mess, but it was a glorious mess, and it was one of the best nights of my life.
Chicago band, right?
No, they're from Ohio. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Akron.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Yep.
Not Akron, Dayton, Ohio. What am I saying?
Yeah, I can't. I can't argue. There's no arguing with any of these. These are all obviously shows you had to be at, and I can feel that. I'm trying to think. I would love to go. I'd love to say the greatest club show I ever saw was the Replacements. It's the funniest one I ever saw. This is mid-'80s Replacements, and it was one of those shows that you kind of hoped to get, which is they were too drunk to play.
Oh, man.
Or Bob certainly was. They played 1.5 songs as a 4-piece, and then about 5 songs as a 3-piece, and then the show ended.
Oh, my God.
It was Cantrell's in Nashville, and it was like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like, I wanted them to play for 2 hours, but I'll take this too, because it's them and we were here. But I don't remember anything about the sound other than like, whoa, they're not in good shape.
See,
so it wasn't the whole experience. And this is a show I hadn't thought about in forever. And for some reason, probably because it's at the same club.
Okay.
I saw in 1984 or maybe 85, right when their second album came out, The Violent Femmes.
Ooh.
And you might not expect a band that's mostly acoustic to blow the roof off the joint, but it really was one of those nights where they played with such energy and fire, and everybody there was having it. You know what I mean? It was like the 200 biggest nerd Violent Femmes fans on earth. We're just like, like if you were into that band in 1983 and 84, they were it was the coolest, weirdest thing ever. And it wasn't about Blister in the Sun. That was like, whatever, that one. But what about all these other great songs? And there was just something in the room that night. It was one of those ones where you're just trying to chase that every time you go to a gig. Pretty incredible. 651-989-ROCK. What's the greatest club gig you ever saw?
Got some texts.
Let me have them.
We got a couple, actually, and I guess he played there multiple times, but one of them that weighed in is Hummus Bob saw Prince play at Bunkers in Minneapolis back in the day. He forgets the year because, again, Prince played there multiple times, but still pretty special to see that.
Oh, my God. Well, I think he just won the argument with that one.
Legendary.
Thanks, Bob.
That's sick.
Brian says, Red Hot Chili Peppers, early 80s at First Ave, nothing but socks on their junk for the last set.
Oh, man.
All right.
Very famous.
That's pretty classic. This one's from out west. Alan is here, but saw Genesis with Peter Gabriel at the Rainbow in Hollywood.
Ooh.
That's pretty good.
Dang.
Hey,
That's pretty awesome.
That's tough to beat.
Local producer Deluxe John Fields just texted Jellyfish at First Ave, July 6, 93. Now, I will say this, Jellyfish, the greatest ever 2-album and out band, a tremendous live show. I mean, that is, if there's of all the bands that woulda, coulda, shoulda, they definitely didn't. But man, those records are great, and they were tremendous live.
Oh man, Spilt Milk. That record is incredible. Belly Button is the first one, I believe. Yeah, really good band.
Tremendous. Boy, it's almost more fun to go, what's the worst gig you ever saw? But right now, best club gigs is good. We'll keep this one.
We'll go to worst another time.
Can I just say, too, like you said, a Wisconsin band, too. Violent Femmes.
Yeah.
We got Garbage. Wisconsin representing here. Not known as a great state for producing bands, and yet very well represented in this segment.
Probably just got lucky.
What was the Detroitin? Remember that band? The 80s Wisconsin band. One other one I'm going to throw out there. Just one of the great club bands you could ever have hoped to see from New Orleans, Louisiana, Dash Rip Rock.
Ooh,
Never heard of them?
That's a deep cut.
Dash Riprock was that's a character on the Beverly Hillbillies, I think. Was it the Clampett girl? Her boyfriend's name was Dash Riprock or something.
I don't go deep on hillbillies.
Yeah, they were a 3-piece band from New Orleans for years. Their original drummer left that band and started a band that still exists called Cowboy Mouth. His name's Fred LeBlanc. He's the lead singer and drummer.
Yeah,
when he was in Dash Riprock, that was the most insane show I've ever seen. He's the only drummer I've ever seen who, with both arms, does Pete Townsend windmills in time while playing drums. You got to see it to believe it. So I'm sure his shoulders still don't do that, but at this age. But he would jump off the kit and he ran across a bar and he jumped from bar stool to bar stool. It was like a gymnastic. It was like a Gymkata outtake. In the middle of a rock show while drinking beer and playing drums. I've never seen anything like it. So, and they would, but all three guys, they just tore it up. They were one of those bands where like, you were never going to make it because you couldn't possibly be in a room bigger than a club. Like it wouldn't translate the same way. Great stuff. 651-989-ROCK and Ryder.
If you were at that Nirvana show at First Avenue, I just can't handle hearing about it right now.
Wow. Boy, the texters are a texting.
It's blowing up. Your guy, Mac D in North Carolina, says Atlanta 1981 X at the Bistro, which I don't know how big that one was, but was essentially a ratty old house, he says. I had only read about them, never heard them before. Otherwise, try to imagine experiencing Billy Zoom on a stage 5 feet from you when you had no expectations or precedence of any kind.
I will happily imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh, the band X is just one of my all-time favorites.
Yes.
And Billy Zoom was such a badass. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow.
I like that.
Yeah, that's like walking into a room and there's just a chainsaw right there. Like, holy crap, look at that.
Here's a good one from Super Dave. This is from a little different perspective.
Okay.
After work one night about 10:30, I was planning on seeing Oasis when they played the Uptown Bar, which had about a 250 capacity. I remember that place. Yeah. It was packed. There was a line down the block and around the corner when I got there. He didn't get in. Oh, man, that's a bummer.
They book Oasis at the Uptown Bar. Somebody was really on their game.
Never knew where to put those guys.
Somebody very much had their pulse on the finger.
The 2008 Oasis played at Target Center, and I know that because my band, the Black Crowes, played First Ave that night. And I think we had more people at our gig than they had at theirs. They are so up and down in America. Yeah. It's hilarious. So many text messages. Greatest club gig you ever saw. What do we got, Paul?
We've got Velvet Revolver at the Quest. That was their first tour.
Okay. But the freaking Quest with those dumb poles, it was there were giant pillars in the middle of the floor. It made it hard to see everything.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It was not a well thought out design for sure, but a cool spot to see Scott Weiland and the guys from Guns N' Roses do their thing.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that part's cool. Our buddy Jimmy Spreeman says Kings of Leon at 7th Street. That was before they completely blew up.
Okay.
Cool.
I would like to.
Were they sober enough to get through a show
the first Kings of Leon album, when they were still wearing overalls and stuff? I dug that, man.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. We have just enough time for the last word.
Bring it!
Joan Murray, 1999.
Joan.
North Carolina. She's in a plane. She's 14,000 feet above the Earth's surface, and she jumps out on purpose because she has a parachute, and that's what she does.
All right.
Her main parachute malfunctioned. She managed to deploy the reserve chute, but it only partially opened. Ugh. She was steamrolling right towards planet Earth at 80 miles per hour.
Ouch, that could be bad.
And nothing stopped her. She hit the Earth at 80 miles per hour from a height of 14,000 feet. She suffered some pretty catastrophic injuries, as you might imagine. A lot of broken bones, spinal damage, trauma throughout her body, 20 reconstructive surgeries, intensive care. There's no reason she should have lived. Doctors, in fact, are like, how in the world did this woman survive? Well, I'll tell you why. Because she landed on a giant fire ant mound. And she was bitten by so many fire ants that her heart raced so fast it wouldn't stop from the injuries. The adrenaline surge of the venom, the venom triggered all of her body's defenses, and it kept her heart beating through the first few minutes when anybody else would have surely died from her injuries.
She's the only person in the history of humanity who can say, God, I hope I hit that mound of fire ants.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely.
So how about that?
Probably the only advocate for fire ants on the planet.
So the lesson, as always, if you're going skydiving, make sure there's fire ants around.
Yeah.
And make sure you know where they are.
I have another one, and is if you're going skydiving, don't.
That's
I mean,
what I've been.
I'm not going to get on board with that, you guys. But whatever.
Monday on this show, Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols.
Yes.
Come on.
Wow.
Sex Pistols coming to town soon. Going to talk with Steve Jones. We will play a game we call Gorman in the Morning Yearbook. That is to hopefully give away some Flaming Lips tickets. Fletcher, what's coming up right now?
We're going to get into some music as we do. Go commercial free just before noon. I got Queen, Zeppelin, Genesis right after 10. Oh, and Oasis, who we just talked about.
That sounds like a plan.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.